Morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Yes, it is our first show of 2025. It's Mornings in Meridian, the two best hours of local live talk radio right here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of it. We appreciate that. You're part of it just not by listening, but also calling in and letting us know what's on your mind, your heart, and anything else. Don't get too personal, but let us know what's going on in your world. Who is us? Well, today I'm Roger B. Have been pretty much every day. And say hi to, here he is, the guy to my left, my main man from Meehan. Happy New Year, Rob Atkinson.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, sir.
Hello.
You know, in spite of the news from around the country, around the world, it is, it's a happy new year, fresh start, time to start, kind of like a new beginning every 365 and a quarter days.
Yeah, I know, right?
Touching, right?
Touching.
Sorry. No, anyway.
It's so popular. I love it.
Let me not go there.
I would love to.
Good to see you, sir. Anything spectacular over the weekend? New Year? Did you have your black eyed peas?
Yeah. We ate good yesterday.
I know there was something I didn't do. It's going to be a bad year.
We had black eyed peas. We had ham. We had cornbread. We had Nikki. She outdid herself yesterday.
Nikki, you just overdone it. That's why it's big.
That's why he's a growing boy.
Big time.
Oh, kind of a quiet place around the Burke home. Just a little kind of ran the leaf cleaner out of the pool. You know, it's one of these first world problems. You know, get the leaves out of the pool. Do a little painting of the trim around the house. You know, a little fix up kind of thing. Yeah, that's
paint the fence up,
yeah.
down,
up, down. There you go. A little simple, nothing major.
Side to side.
Watched a couple of good movies. You know, I went back. I had to pull out the Man Who Knew Too Little with that guy.
That guy.
Yeah, you know, the guy that was in Ghostbusters and Saturday Night Live and Caddyshack. Bill Murray.
Mr. Murray.
Oh, yeah. As I get my memory together here, we're going to talk about all the national stories. Of course, that's if you look at the national story, there's only really two big stories. One of them happens to be Paris attacks in New Orleans and Las Vegas, and then Speaker of the House vote coming up tomorrow.
I'll get me started on.
And today we should expect a visit from Congressman Guest, who'll be talking to us a little bit about maybe what's coming up in the House.
Yeah, so, busy day. But I tell you what, this terror stuff, I got a little fired up watching some of the coverage yesterday, especially during that press conference in New York.
I want to hear a little bit about that. But first, let's take a phone call here at our number at 601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How you doing?
I could be doing better, Roger.
Look at you. All right. Well, here we are, January the 2nd. You're the first caller of the year. All right. Rob, tell him what he's won.
You'll get to call back again some other day.
Hey!
Wow, that's something right there. Y'all are talking about. I wrote down a list of things. The chickens have come home to roost from the border policy. That's what's going on. It looks like they picked the year 25 to start. The guy didn't work alone. He's Muslim. He was born in America, ex-Army veteran. Somebody radicalized this guy.
Yeah.
Long ago, we learned in France and Germany that a vehicle is a better weapon than a gun. We know that a pistol is one thing, a rifle is another, but a shotgun is the best weapon to use if you want to slaughter dozens of people. And what trumps that? A vehicle. Now, he was driving, it looked like a Ford F-150. I just saw a glimpse of it.
Yeah, it was.
What stops most vehicles in crowd attacks? It's gruesome. Do you want to hear it? Do you get your finger on the button? Because I'm going to tell you.
Might as well tell us.
Go ahead and tell us now.
Bodies clogging the front wheel.
Yeah.
It's just like driving in mud in Louisiana. If you've ever driven in gumbo with buckshot, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what happens when someone decides to get a day hauler, which is a single axle, a mini semi truck,
right?
1,000 horsepower engine, does a little welding, puts some skid plates on it, puts a K-blade on the front, like bulldozers used to cut down huge trees.
Well, you had too much time to think this New Year's Day.
Oh, no. I tell you where this comes from. I did security planning on my ship. My chief engineer used say, how come you always beat our security teams? I said, if you want to catch them, you got to think like them.
There you go.
America, look, y'all, America ain't ready for the level of violence. These people are born and bred, trained, and taught to do. They're sappers. You know what a sapper is? It's that guy that goes in and throws his body across the wire and the rest of them walk on him. He doesn't get out of the wire.
Yeah.
He knows he's going to die. He's a sapper. He goes in with a Bangalore torpedo and detonates it. They exist. They have in the past.
Well, the city of New Orleans called. They want you to come down there and brief the police department.
Well, the first thing I'm going to tell them is you're not ready. Now, what the long-term effects is when they learn and finally come to the idea they have to tighten up, then they start putting a squeeze on regular people. And there's one of the other social problems that is a byproduct, an unintended, effect of their policies, which they have set on their hands. We get to the politicians. Every politician that promoted the border, not securing the border, has blood on their hands. They will answer for it, Roger, and you know when.
But they're going to tell you really quick. Well, this person was a citizen, and he was even a veteran from the Army.
Yeah. Well, I went through security background check. I had a secret clearance. They took my fingerprint. They took DNA samples. They took a microscope and looked up things you shouldn't look up, and so on and so forth. Do the same. Okay, if you're gonna put yourself in that position, you need to be ready for what happens. America's not ready for this violence. And there's a mini IED. You don't have to deal with it. You know what a mission kill is? Vice a hard kill.
What's a vice a hard kill?
Mission kill. That's where you blow the hand off and the person's now ineffective.
Yeah.
Or you damage your ship and send it back into port. You injure, you damage an aircraft. It can't complete its mission. That's a mission kill. You shoot it down. That's a hard kill, which is better, but they will settle for a mission kill. The same thing applies to people. Can you imagine? Now, our local law enforcement is going to get hammered over this, and I pray for them every day. And it's just the beginning of these things. He was radicalized somehow. He came across other people have come across the border and set this guy up. Money came from somewhere, dude. 2 plus 2 is 4. It's not 3.97. It's 4. So this is what's going on.
Well, my whole thing about it is, I think it was this morning where they had gotten to his home at Houston, and they were going to go through there. And how long is it going to take to maybe find out information on what happened within his home? Because did they find more explosive devices? Did they find more information of how he got radicalized? I mean, there's a footprint for everything.
The communication trails would be the real key there.
It's always there. However, when you let them in, do you realize that there's more than just the cyber truck in this guy? No. There are things called cells. I'm sure you heard of groups, and this is just the beginning. I have long been an advocate of watching vehicles as weapons. And are they going to start banning cords now? I mean, we ban firearms when some idiot takes a firearm. It's nothing but a tool.
That argument's been that argument has been defeated time and again. But
here's the one thing that aggravates me the most. Biden gets up there yesterday and speaks for 2 or 3 minutes, and I remember he said the biggest threat to the United States of America is white supremacy. Really?
I haven't seen any down here. I mean,
I'm just trying to wrap my mind around that.
Well, he's getting that from 1960s communist Russia propaganda films. I mean, come on.
Could be. Now look, let's go back to the recent past of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter did 2 things that I liked. The rest of it, other than that, I felt he was an ineffective president.
All right.
But I was there when the Iranians attacked us and shot missiles at us over the failed hostage attempt, which was set up by the weakness of his administration, because they were taken in 76, 77, somewhere in there, 77, 78, when they overran the Shah of Iran. I know it was Shah of Iran back in 79. And when Reagan went in, I told you I was in Operation Eagle Claw, got shot at and all kinds of stuff. Nobody hears, it's not in history books, you don't hear about the failures. When the helicopters crashed, the Air Force C-130 got hit by the 53-8 and detonated, killed 8 men in the desert. Anyway, Jimmy Carter brokered the Camp David Accords, which is a lasting peace, this time between Egypt and Israel. That was a good thing Jimmy Carter did. He also pardoned a guy named Robert Edward Lee. I don't know if you remember that guy. That was the two things I think that Carter did well. Everything else, he just dropped the ball. He was, he might have had good intentions, but the path of hell is paved in good intentions.
Now, Robert Edward Lee, tell me about him.
Yeah, the guy that wore gray, that led the Confederate Army.
Oh, I see.
Robert E. Lee.
Yeah.
It's amazing when we don't hear it in context. It's packaged. Robert E. Lee, everybody thinks racist. Yeah. Robert Edward Lee, people wonder, who in the world is that guy?
That was very good. Good job.
So I didn't mean to mislead you on there.
No, you didn't. No, that's good. I just need to, all these buttons and screens in front of me. I just need to learn to listen better.
Okay, but you realize that vehicles are better for mass attacks when they start armoring the vehicle.
Well, sure.
The job is going to get uglier, and you're going to see more of it. It is just beginning. I've done been overseas and seen it. I've had Fort Breeze. I've watched and seen and stood in the back, stayed out of trouble, and stayed out of the way. You ask a veteran about when you see a Coca-Cola can on the side of the road, what's your first impulse as an American?
Pick it up.
Pick it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pick it up or kick it. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose a foot or a hand.
Right.
So it's called a mission kill. So this is going to start here. I guess I theorize they've selected the year 25 to begin. How long will it go? Welcome America to the third world country.
Mm.
Is this coincidentally just there to kind of, the one who was saying we defeated ISIS was, of course, Donald Trump. And so is this kind of a get back at you now for the president?
This movement is a hydra. That's all it is. What happens when you cut off one head of a hydra?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all remember 3 reappear, right?
That's right.
Okay. You kill ISIS and they come up under another name, and then you take that one out and they come up under another name. It's the same people doing the same planet. And the only way to do it is the way the Israelis do it, is go in, hunt that individual down, and just like Ariel Sharon said at the United Nations, and kill them like dogs. Now that sounds radical. It does to America. You don't understand that's their language and they're going to use it on us. America, y'all better get ready. I'm sure that the local inhabitants of Mississippi within that radio range that I'm talking right now are going, this guy is a damn nut. I am not. I've been there, seen that, done that. I've had enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching them do it to us now, and they have no idea. It will be, the realization will approach and affect most people in the cemeteries that they're burying their loved ones when this kind of stuff happens here in Mississippi.
Well, the good news for you is I haven't heard that many people talking about you being crazy.
Well, that's really nice to hear. But, there are underlining or underlying murmurs on our case. Murmurs. Yeah.
But the point you make is well taken, and that is the fact that, okay, we've got, all right, so we have to be careful that, yes, we realize that not everybody that has served, just because they put on the uniform, doesn't mean that they don't have some sort of will to help bring down America as we know it.
I would have to say that they probably took the training to learn how we operate.
There you go.
This is a long-term game.
Right.
This is not short. Let's beat up on America. This is a long-term game. They are patiently waiting, and they're going to use us against ourselves. And I'm not saying we walk around suspicious, but 2 + 2 is 4. If you see the behavior, confront it. You don't mean you got to mistreat people or be ugly. Find out what's going on. He will show his hand when you corner him. Trust me.
Now, I will say there was a lot of criticism, and I'm not sure how to put this in perspective, except that I kind of look at it this way. I know New Orleans Police Department has taken a lot of criticism for not, sealing off the sidewalk. They had and years ago, being in New Orleans, I know those barricades are usually just little metal fences that they, temporarily set up, that kind of thing. If you have done this for celebration after celebration after celebration, year in and year out, then, you're thinking, okay, well, this is all we need to do for New Year's, is what we've done in the past. But now They're taking a lot of credit. Well, why didn't they have a sidewalk block? Why didn't they have that? Well, now, guess what? Going forward, I'd be willing to bet you there's going to be some concrete barricades there on Broder Street or wherever.
Well, I look at it like this: a dump truck and a garbage truck make an excellent barrier, and you can drive it off easily.
Yep.
And city owned too. Look at you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think ahead. If you want to catch them, think like them. And that sounds brutal, but they need a hard-nosed guy in there to do that kind of stuff.
Well, I tell you what, if I get asked by Donald Trump, if I get a good suggestion for somebody who might be a counter-terrorist, I'll give him your name.
But if I take the job, I get the authority to.
That's what. Yeah, I think.
I heard you back there, Rob.
There you go.
No, I'm not going to be a terrorist.
No,
but
a counter-terrorist.
There you go. Counter-terrorist. You got to think like it. All right. Well, I've taken up enough human time. My most humble apologies.
Well, I'll tell you about a movie I watched last night.
What's the name?
The K-19.
Oh, that was the Soviet submarine. Yeah. Cosmic. Yeah. They didn't recover K-19. That was the Glomar Explorer. Did that right?
All I know is that the movie portrayed them having a nuclear reactor malfunction, and I guess they were finally discovered by one of their own boats and towed back. But they were right near a destroyer, U.S. destroyer, when all this happened. So.
Well, just so everybody in the world knows, nuclear reactors do not explode. They're not bombs. Mm-hmm. They melt down, which is worse.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe that, what's that place in Russia? And what's the name of that? The one where the reactors melted down. In Fukushima, Japan, an exploding reactor.
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl, that's it. Chernobyl chicken, that's right. That's a three-headed chicken with four legs. Anyway.
But they're tasty. I don't know. They're tasty.
Well, they have a zing to them, don't they? And if you don't want to, you take the leftovers and plug it into the main power grid. Hey, we're hot. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I feel so much better. So it's no wonder I've been diagnosed with PTSD, huh?
No, well, I didn't know that you were diagnosed with that. I really didn't.
Did I release some important medical information?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. There we go. Good. It was mine to release. So whoever don't like it, can never mind. Anyway, y'all have a good day. I have got lots of work to do. I'm so excited. It's just a great day.
All right. Well, thank you for being out there. So thanks for the phone call. First call of the year is Senior Chief. Carry on, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Mornings in Meridian brought to you in part by Doc's Toyota.
It is a brand new year.
Hey, go up there to Doc's Toyota and get you a brand new or at least a good certified pre-owned Toyota.
Absolutely. They got all of the 25s on the lot. Of course, you mentioned all the pre-owned selection is there as well, from affordable beginner cars to maybe that graduate who's about to get on the road real soon. Oh, I know it's scary, right? And all the way up to the top of the line luxury vehicles as well. You can check out the entire inventory online at docstoyota.com. Of course, wonderful service department as well. Drop by and see them there. They're open, actually going to be open in just a few minutes. They'll be there till 5 o'clock today. Open a few hours on Saturdays, the service department from 8 to noon, because it's always important to keep your Toyota in tip-top shape for the new year. Drop by and see them at Doc's, Highway 16 West in Philadelphia, or give them a call at 601-600-3786. At 601-600-3786. Lots of dealerships, they'll have some kind of a little special deal every now and then. They're going to give you a little freebie, a little this or that. But at Doc's Toyota, what do they live by? There's no deal
like a Doc's deal.
Yes,
that's exactly right. Well, it's a great morning. It's a little crisp out there, but did it make it down to the 30s or just
kind of hovered down into the kind of mid-30s.
Mid-30s, yeah. Not quite freezing is what I meant to say.
Kind of right there close to it.
Right, close to it. It was a little chilly this morning, but good day. Good, it's kind of interesting. It's like we've got like a weekend now every 2 or 3 days because of these holidays that have been coming in the middle of the week.
Well, next week's going to hit you 29.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I've got to show you my day off list for January.
Well, it's not the week I'm gone.
It's not. Don't you worry. No problem there. It's, again, of course, the other topic that's been in the news, of course, I guess tomorrow is what do you call it? seating of the new Congress or whatever you call it, but they have to elect a speaker. And of course, there's been this political jockeying of those who want to say they may not support Speaker Johnson as the speaker, whatever. We're going to see what happens with that. But to talk about that, coming up in the next half hour, we're going to have a visit from our own congressman, Mr. Michael Guest. So we'll see what his take is on what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, I know we'll get to that interview coming up, but do you think they should have that football game today in New Orleans?
I do.
Yeah,
I do, and I'll say I think it's because it needs to. I think the longer you delay, the more you think that you send a message to those who would do ill to us that they have a grand effect upon us.
Yeah, the ball game is not going to be a night game tonight. It's going to be afternoon. They're going to play at 3:00 today. So that's the time they're designated for the Sugar Bowl today. And I will say one thing. I know we'll get back into this subject later on in the show, but I thought the press conference in New Orleans yesterday was quite frankly an embarrassment because it's the simple fact of all the bureaucracy we have in government. Did you see how many people were behind that podium that did not need to be in that circle up there to be seen?
It was
have the important people up there that are going to speak. Everybody else.
That's why they're all up there, Rob. They're all important
because we all want to be seen.
Let's just let everybody know what a good job y'all do.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about that too. So all that and much, much more coming up on Mornings in Meridian. We've got to take a little break here and come right back.
And by the way, ABC, it's a terror attack.
ABC didn't get it?
Oh, they called it a truck attack.
Oh, truck. 1936 he was born. So, yeah, we lost him in 92. So, little Roger Miller. Other birthdays, of course, looking down the list there. Cuba Gooding Jr., 57.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. There you go. And TV personality Jack Hanna is 78. Remember from the Columbus Zoo, always on the Johnny Carson show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's Mornings in Meridian. Roger and Rob back with you this morning. Happy New Year, everybody. Our first show of the year. Our second caller is our guest, who we asked to come on the show and talk a little bit about what's going on nationally. And, of course, our guest, we always like to introduce him because our guest is Congressman Michael Guest. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, gentlemen. I feel honored to be your second guest for 2025.
Honored to be the second guest. That is awesome. Well, sir, boy, a lot's happened since we scheduled you, but let's just get into the topic that we first called you about. Of course, tomorrow, big day in the Congress. Tell us a little bit about how you think this vote's going to go for Speaker Johnson.
Yeah, Congress will reconvene tomorrow noon. The first thing we have to do as Congress is to elect a speaker. So before members can be sworn in, before we can pass a rules package, before we can take up any sort of legislation dealing with border, inflation, the economy, we have to elect a speaker. We saw earlier this week, President Trump came out very strongly for Mike Johnson. Mike has been serving as Speaker for just over a year, but Mike has a handful of detractors. There are 10 members of Congress, Republican members, who have said that they will either not support Mike Johnson or they kind of nod in the middle. Most of those individuals who were not supporting him, that was before President Trump came out with his endorsement. But Mike has a difficult job in that there is a very narrow Republican majority. We can expect no Democrat votes for Mike Johnson. They will all vote for King Jeffries. And so Mike can lose no more than 2 Republican votes on the floor and still be elected Speaker, assuming that all members are present tomorrow and all members are voting on the House floor.
So they have to be present to vote.
Yeah. That's right. No one can vote by absentee, by proxy. All members must be present. There are some members, we know, like Nancy Pelosi, who recently had hip replacement surgery, and so there is a possibility that she could be unable to travel to D.C. To be able to vote, and so that would affect the vote total. But again, you've got to have all but 2 Republicans, assuming everyone is present. Thomas Massey from Kentucky has already stated that he will not support Mike Johnson, regardless of what President Trump says. So it's therefore important for Mike to run the tables on the other undecided votes out there. And I think we'll know pretty early roll call on Roger because they call the roll alphabetically. So starting with A, going through Z, a couple of people to be watching early as far as Republican names who will be called early. Andy Biggs, Burleson from Missouri, Lockrane from Arizona, and then Michael Cloud from Texas. And so once you get into the B's and C's, you start running into 4 or 5 people who have either questioned whether they will support Mike Johnson or they've remained non-committal. And so if all of those early votes start breaking in Mike Johnson's favor, I think that there is a good chance he gets reelected on the first ballot.
Well, my question for you, Congress, is to Rob. Who would be another choice? I mean, if you get these 8 to 10, detractors that say they're kind of wavering out there, who would be another potential pick for those folks? I mean, who would they get behind?
The 2 names you hear most often are Jim Jordan from Ohio and then Steve Scalise, who's also from Louisiana, like Mike Johnson. And so those would, I think, be the next 2 individuals that the conference would then look at. But it would require at some point Mike withdrawing his name. If he's unable to get the votes, no one can force Mike off the ballot. So Mike would have to withdraw his name, and then the conference as a whole would have to meet the Republican conference and decide who we want to nominate at that point. And so there's going to be a period of time that could be done in the matter of probably 4 or 5 hours. It could drag into a day or so. And the thing that makes this speaker election, I think, very important is that we're looking on January the 6th, certifying Donald Trump
Right.
election to be the president of the United States. And the Constitution says that's the date, the Constitution, the 6th. I don't think that is a magic date. And so I think if we went into the 7th or 8th, as long as he's certified before the 20th, I think that there would be nothing that would prevent him from being sworn in. But we want to make sure that this goes off without a hiccup. We want to get President Trump election certified. We want to get him sworn on the 20th. We want to get to work for the American people, fulfilling the campaign promises that we all made in November.
So why is it, Congressman, that we come off of this great election night in November? And of course, it looks like, in all appearances to me, and to Rob, we've talked about this on the show, that Donald Trump has done a very efficient job of getting his transition team has done a very efficient job of getting his cabinet established and getting ready to go to work and already working. So why is it that the Republican Party, now with this chance to have a very large amount of power in Washington, want to start out with this with this I like what one Congress lady said on Fox this morning, called it a food fight.
Yeah, I think there's a fundamental difference between Republicans and Democrats. I think Democrats want to be led. Kind of compare them maybe to sheep. They want somebody to tell them where to go, what to do, how to vote for. And so, once they decide on who their leader is going to be, they do a very good job of following the line. Republicans have a much more independent streak. We don't want someone to be able to tell us how to vote, who we need to support. We are much more, I believe, a much more diverse party than the Democratic Party. And so, you often see these internal struggles within the Republican Party because, again, we are so dependent-minded. And so I think that is really the fundamental difference. I think what is working in Mike Johnson's favor is Donald Trump's endorsement. Mike was at Mar-a-Lago yesterday meeting with President Trump. President Trump has been on his phone making calls on Mike's behalf. And so I think everyone who wants to support President Trump, they want to support his agenda. I think that may be the push that Mike needs to get this across the country.
And Congressman, I don't, just looking at this situation, I don't think, and I'm just saying this on the eve of this whole thing happening, I hope it's not as nasty as McCarthy's, opportunity. I hope it doesn't get
that would be embarrassing. The Republican Party, in my opinion.
Because I know you were on the floor when a lot of that tension happened with a lot of members there, a lot of showdowns happened, and I just hope we don't get to that point this weekend.
Yeah, and I think, and for your members or for your listeners who may not remember, 2 years ago, it took Kevin McCarthy 15 ballots over 4 days to ultimately be elected as Speaker. He had to make a large number of concessions to win over the vote. Ultimately, McCarthy was removed from office less than a year after being elected as Speaker. And then we had that 3-week period, if you gentlemen remember, where Congress basically shut down as Republicans were trying to decide who was going to be our Speaker. First, we were going to nominate Steve Scalise and then Jim Jordan. And then ultimately we settled on Mike Johnson. But it took us 3 weeks. We lost 3 weeks of legislative time. We can't do that right now. It is imperative that we elect a Speaker, fairly quickly, and that we get to work on the Trump agenda. And I would love to see that there be Republican legislation that we can pass out of the House and Senate that we can send President Trump on day one, when he is sworn in on January 20th, and he can sign that legislation law. But to do that, we've got to elect a Speaker first.
And you said this, you're eager to get to work because this is this is kind of like, I think about the first time Trump was elected. Of course, you had the Republicans had the House, Senate, and the White House, a chance to really do some good. And quite frankly, I think the Republicans blew it. But now here it is, a new time, a new day. And what do you see are the first agenda items that Congress needs to take up and put before the president?
Well, I think we need to redouble our efforts in securing the border. The House Republicans did a good job last Congress passing H.R. 2, which was the toughest border security measure in the history of the country. We know ultimately that legislation was nowhere in the Senate. Schumer wouldn't even bring it to the floor to begin debate. And so I think that we've got to begin very quickly working with the president. The president, of course, use executive orders to make changes on the border, but we need to make changes legislatively. So whether we do that through regular order, whether we do that through the budget reconciliation process, I think we also have to make sure that our law enforcement agencies have the resources that they need, particularly in light of what happened in New Orleans yesterday, and what happened in Las Vegas, so where we saw the vehicle explode outside Trump Hotel. So we live in a very dangerous time. We have been very fortunate that we've not seen acts of terror on United States soil in a significant number. But we must remain vigilant, and so I think that those are the two things that we will address first and foremost, and then we will look at how we can reduce inflation and grow the economy. I think those will be the four priorities coming in on January 20th. President Trump is sworn into office.
Looking forward, of course, we think about Mississippi, and you're our representative from down here. What good news might be in store for East Mississippi in the days and years ahead that we might be able to get some? I'll put it this way: I always like the joke that when it comes to a national budget, it's always pork unless it's coming home, and that's something different. But what can we expect in East Mississippi?
Yeah, I mean, two things in general that we've been working very diligently on, and one of those projects is our delegation working with the governor's office, with our legislature, with local officials, as the 186 area fueling there in Meridian, trying to position the 186 to receive the next generation of air refueling tankers flown by the Air Force. They currently fly the KC-135. That platform, those planes were manufactured in the late 50s, early to mid 60s. So they're flying the plane. Those have well maintained and new electronics, new engines, but the airframe itself, in many cases, it's 50 plus years old. And so we are trying to position the delegation of Mississippi to receive the next generation of tankers, the KC-46s. We were able to get them onto the short list. And I say a whole number of people, I'm not trying to take credit for what was going on, but a whole number of people were working together. The Air Force came and visited Meridian in December, did their initial site visit. We're continuing to provide the Air Force information that they need to show them Meridian. It's so important. And we're also relying, of course, on our state partners and our partners in the Senate, particularly Senator Wicker, as he will soon be in as chairman of Armed Services in the Senate. That is a very important position. Chairman of probably one of the most powerful committees in all of Congress. And so with his role and leadership, we think that helps well position Mississippi as they're in that competitive process.
Now, that sounds encouraging. Hope we'll keep our fingers crossed, Congressman. Anything we can do to help?
No, well, look, all we can do is make sure that we have that community support. We've got to make sure that the community is going to be supportive, and I know they will. I've met with community leaders. This is also going to have an economic impact as we're going to see construction dollars. There has to be some additional work done there to accommodate the new platform. And it's also going to bring in roughly 100 new families into the Meridian community. And so that will have an economic impact. These new families will come in because this new mission will be a joint mission between guard and active duty. And so we're expecting 100 new families to move in. And then, another thing that we've been working very diligently with the city of Meridian on is infrastructure. Particularly water and sewage. Meridian is like many of the other major cities across not only our state but across the country where they have an aging infrastructure. And so we have been trying to work to make sure that we can leverage federal dollars with state dollars and local dollars to make needed repairs to the Meridian infrastructure. And so we've met with the mayor, we've met with city officials multiple times. They're generally up in D.C. 2 to 3 times a year. And then I meet with them when I'm in Meridian to talk about if we can help with some of the things they make needed repairs. And we've been able to put language in some of the road bills, the authorizing bills, as well as the appropriating bills to make sure that they have the dollars to make those repairs. So we're excited to partner with them. We know it's needed. We're going to continue to see growth in the Mississippi. We've got to make sure that the water and sewage is available. And then I'm also excited about the economic development projects that are here being talked about. I'm sure you hear those being talked about as well. We can't mention those on the radio. There are some economic development projects in the works for Mississippi, which be game changers. And so we're trying to, any way that we can, help as those companies are looking at coming to Mississippi, helping throw our weight where we can behind that to encourage those companies to relocate, or in some cases expand in East Mississippi, providing new jobs, good high-paying jobs for the people of Meridian and really from the surrounding areas.
Well, I hope that does materialize. We always categorize us old timers. We always categorize those projects as believe them when we see them, kind of thing. But we hope that comes to fruition. But Congressman, thank you so much for taking time. Now, before we let you go, is there anything you want to tell our listeners before we let you go this morning?
Look, just again, thank y'all so much for having me on, Roger. I appreciate the continued dialogue. Hope throughout this year that y'all will let me come on to be able to talk about the things that we're doing in Washington. I do want you listeners to know that we are very active, very engaged with homeland security and our federal law enforcement regarding the incident in New Orleans that happened late, or I guess it was early yesterday morning, about 3 a.m. I'll actually be on a call this morning about 9 o'clock with FBI and Homeland Security getting a non-classified update, and we will get to D.C. and they're able to get a more secure setting. We will get a classified briefing as to what occurred, where they are investigating any potential leak that happened in New Orleans versus in Las Vegas. I think it's important for us to be able to know as quickly as possible, was this ISIS inspired? Or was it ISIS directed? And so is this some sort of individual who became radicalized and was actually by himself, or maybe with 2 or 3 other people? Or is this a much bigger attack with ISIS itself activated someone, a sleeper cell agent with the United States to attack one of our major cities on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day? And so that's the questions we're trying to get. We know how to get home. You think of New Orleans, many of us is an extension of Mississippi at times, and so you think about these type of attacks happening in far off places like Los Angeles or New York. See these things happen so close to home is extremely troubling, and we're going to be working very closely based on our role as being the Vice Chair of Homeland Security, making sure that we are staying updated and that we get the questions answered at the appropriate time.
The closer I get to that first check, I definitely want Social Security to stay healthy. If you can do that, if you can keep us safe and keep us protected and give us opportunity, and then also take care of that Social Security, that'd be fine.
Well, look, like you, that first check is getting closer every day. So I got to make sure that hopefully it's there for you and I, not only for us, but usually our kids. I've got two parents and a mother on. I know how important that is. And so I don't see anyone introducing legislation that would impact people being able to receive that commitment that the federal government has made them. So we'll continue to make sure nothing more than you and I think, Roger, that Social Security remains solved and that we're able to see a check come to our house one day.
Congressman Michael Guest, thank you again for taking time to share with us your perspective of what's going on in Washington. Good luck tomorrow. Hope everything goes smoothly and get off to a great start.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day. Good talking to you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Congressman Michael
Right.
Guest taking time out of the schedule. Of course, he is a servant of the people, so it's nice of him to do that, but we kind of expect him to do it too. But
It is going to be interesting going into
Good
tomorrow
interview.
with the speakers. I guess we want to call it election as a vote, really, within the House chambers there. But sounds like right now it's 8 to 10 folks, which Thomas Massey, that's the one right now that is saying, I'm not going to vote for him, period of paragraph. So he mentioned Steve Scalise, Jim Jordan. Well, we've tried that before, and they didn't get through. They didn't get enough folks. So
no,
I just don't see enough path for anybody else to even get that opportunity.
I kind of look at Johnson doing the best he could with what he had when it comes to this last, keeping the government going.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Continuation. But let's see what now that you have the power, and he's a good leader. He comes across good. He talks well. He's a good representative, I think, for the Republican House. So let's see what can happen when we got all we've got all the cylinders hitting, if you will.
Well, I like what he said, though. Mr. Guest said that Donald Trump has been making phone calls, and I'm pretty sure that those have been quite interesting to those 8 to 10 folks.
Are you talking about the guy that wrote several books on art of making the
art
deal?
of the deal. Exactly. So we'll see how it all transpires, because the endorsement came earlier this week. I think it was like Monday or Tuesday with the endorsement of Johnson, which is not a big surprise. I mean, that came, but I imagine he's been working the phones pretty hard the last couple of days.
You mean the fact that Johnson left his victory celebration on election night and flew to Mar-a-Lago for Trump's victory celebration?
I think
You think there's a relationship there?
He went to the Army-Navy game. He went to the I think so.
I think so.
I think so.
But and I appreciate Congressman Guest by pointing this out. He made, I love the way he put this. He said Democrats are more like sheep. They want somebody to tell them what to do, and fall in line, and off they go.
He's right.
And he characterized Republicans being all more independent thinking. And I'm thinking, okay, that has its good part.
But right now,
But when it comes to right now, the timing right now, the everything, Republicans need to get in that House chamber tomorrow, and they need to cast a vote for Michael Johnson and get behind that and just make that happen and get this thing kicked off.
It's like I said the other day, the Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries, they're going to vote for him across the board. I said that the other day. No matter what deals you make behind the scenes with them, they're going to vote lock, stop, and step right there.
It might depend on which Democrat and which deal. Because
but he's right there. They're all going to vote.
Yeah, the sheeps.
Yep.
So does that make us the goat?
So no matter what, no matter what you do to try to say, hey, we'll do that. No, it's not going to happen, because if there's one or two to do that, they will be. Oh gosh, they probably won't see another term after this.
The congressman gave me an idea for a new name for that party. The Democrats. The Democrats. All right. Well, it's Mornings in Meridian. We'll come back after the top of the hour, of course, and talk about, we'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. If you have comments about the congressman's call, or if you want to talk about the police press of the city's press conference, the city of New Orleans yesterday, where they had the, what was it? It was more like the Academy Awards red carpet. Is that what it was?
It was a joke.
And now we're going to hear from the Department of Community Development. No, I know what you're saying.
I mean, I will say one thing. There was one gentleman that was standing over to the side when the press started asking questions. You had the governor there, the mayor, and other folks. He finally stepped in, like, listen, if you're going to keep asking the same questions, we can't give you. This is an ongoing investigation. And the media got all up in arms.
It's the very beginning of an ongoing investigation.
And they were like, if this is all we're going to get, we're going to close this press conference. And they all started shouting at the same time. It's like the press just do not get it. It's like you can't ask certain questions right now, because this is when you've got all these law enforcement agencies involved, they can't tell you that a lot right now. It's hours after it happened.
Well, what amazes me is how much the media can take a little bit of information and talk all afternoon about it, like they did on Fox.
And all I can say is the FBI, that they're the biggest joke of all.
Whoa, that's going to change
got to get Cash in there immediately. I'm talking about Cash Patel.
That in the chains. We're going to be right back after Fox News. Stay with us.
Shoot.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. The first show of the year here at Mornings in Meridian. Thank you for tuning in to this, the 2 best hours of local live talk radio here in East Mississippi and West Alabama. Roger B. along with Rob Atkinson.
Happy New Year, folks.
Happy New Year. I noticed you must not have tied one on. You don't have any hangover or anything like that.
No.
So what was the worst thing you did over the holiday? What was the worst thing?
You better stop.
Hey, Dad, I'm glad to hear you. I have a question for you.
You don't even ask me what
Are
I'm
you
here.
about to move to Michigan?
You want to meet outside? I got about 10 minutes of fight left. I'll say 5 for you, buddy.
What happened, Ted?
These kids aren't playing no more. They just here for the money.
Is
Kalen DeBoer is such a bore.
oh, such a bore.
I mean, how embarrassing. They all just need to go on somewhere.
Well, I thought about you. I mean, we even dedicated our station time on Tuesday morning and everything for the game, and then look what happened.
Yeah, trash the studio. I had to clean it up yesterday.
You lost it, did you?
I did.
Well, maybe you ought to find a place of your own to stay and watch the game.
We'll talk about that later.
ever since you, well, I know what happened. She took the house and you took the RV.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Oh, morning. I'm sorry, folks. That just gets me tickled every time he does that. We're glad you're out there tuned in. Was the Ted's even in the studio. Of course, the big game today was supposed to happen yesterday. Of course, been delayed. That's the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans.
Well, a lot of people have been asking why are they playing the game so early today? Because it was originally scheduled for last night. Well, TV, because obviously you've got the Gator Bowl on tonight between Ole Miss and Duke. It's
That's
on the
it.
same channel, so they had to kind of flop some stuff around. So that's the reason the Sugar Bowl is going to be a little earlier today at 3:00 our time.
I just think of whoever poor person got their show canceled when this playing got put in there.
Well, I mean, think about the fans who made the trip to New Orleans. I mean, do you hang around and stay the extra day for the game? I mean,
they're not going to work.
With hotel prices being the way they are and all this other kind of stuff. I imagine I don't know how that works out. Good luck to whoever did go.
I'll tell you how it works out. The average American has $10,000 in credit card debt. That's how that works. That's it. What's another $500, baby?
That's right.
I don't know. I was kind of amazed. I was watching the New Year, kind of flipping back and forth between the very non-impressive New Year's celebrations, and that's even one in Nashville, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, please.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I guess there's a certain level of the masses that have to be entertained. I'm not one of them. But I was flipping back and forth, of course, and then they said that, yes, you could see the ball drop in New York from the Marriott. There's a nice corner room that you can get for $7,500 a night.
No.
Yeah, you can. So that's per person, by the way. So for $15,000, you sit there in a corner and watch the ball drop and see the crowds and stay out of the rain.
I'll start saving for next year.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Just think of how many tickets to the Alabama games you could get for that.
Like I said, I got about 10 minutes of fighting left. I'll say 5 for you.
Okay.
And 5 for an Auburn fan.
5 for an Auburn fan. Our number here is 601-45-9191. Let's go to what will be our third call of the year. Good morning, caller.
MAGA morning, true American patriot.
Hello there.
MAGA.
Well, we were encouraging the congressman, and I hope that he was on. I don't know if you heard him in the first hour, but I hope they'll get their act together tomorrow and get that vote in for the speaker and get on with business.
Absolutely. I mean, they look comical up there when they do that. Mm-hmm. But I want to honor and thank your first caller.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got the right point. America is the laughing stock of the world.
Yeah.
We have allowed this to happen. You know.
How do we fix
it? Desperate times demand desperate measures. And here again, by having open borders, we haven't seen anything yet. And they've chosen the tactic, this vehicular terrorism. That's not going to be the end of it. The next is going to be the drones. The drones are too easy and 100% workable solution. And I'll tell you why. You have an Alabama game. I'm not sports oriented. If it's not chasing bronze or shooting or catching fish, I'm not really interested. But
Marjorie Taylor Greene called. She wants your number.
well, I call her on my neck, Mama, take me home. Baby, I'm up you most. Margie, we love you long time. We love you long time. We love you long time, Margie. No, but you take something like the Alabama game, 100,000 people.
Yeah.
You take a drone, it flies over at halftime. It's got a 5-pound sack of flour on it, blows to pieces, and somebody out there screams anthrax. How many people will be trampled to death? And besides that, how many people will go to the next game? The object of terrorism is not necessarily the body count. It's to instill fear and chaos and disruption, like you said.
But here's the thing about drones. Drones, I don't know what the government has in plan for that, but they're guess what? We talk about all this wonderful GPS technology and all the rest. Guess who's in charge of the global positioning satellites? The government.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to come up with ways to disable some of these things. I'm just thinking for major events where people can't even fly drones around them.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just saying
again, if you're going to disobey the law, what the hell is disobedience of another law?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many options here, but there again, when you've got a country that allows demonstrations for PLO, Hamas, and Palestinians and known terrorists in support of them, you've got a president that pardons death row inmates on federal death row. You have a government that cut a deal with the mastermind of 9/11 to spare his life. What about the lives of the victims?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody speak for them? Why don't you just sit in the face of the 9/11 victims and first responders that died because of that? It's like the idiots down in Guantanamo. How many years have they been down there? Here's the Fort Hood shooter, an Army psychiatrist that was radicalized, or he carried out his own little jihad. He's on death row in Fort Leavenworth. What about the Unabomber? Why are these people still alive, man? And Trump, I hope Trump goes through there and says, no, we're not going to cease and desist. We're going to put them on the express train. And here's the deal. Anyone, friend or foe, foreign or domestic, that carries out any act against this nation, this is going to be your fate. This is going to be your fate. And here it is. We stop old Granny from carrying her nail scissors on the flight like she's a terrorist. But how many come across that border? They'll tell them what they've got, man. And like I said, they've got people here that's on supply. They've got these terrorist cells already here. This stuff is, this stuff is planned out, man. It's not like, next weekend, let's do something. No, it's coordinated.
It was interesting when the senior chief said that some of these people are in our military, join our military for the very reason of perhaps just seeing the inside of how we do things.
That's exactly correct. If you want to destroy a building, say, all right, Hassan, why don't you take this building down? Like you've seen these implosions before. First thing I want to see is the blueprints. I want to see the underpinning. I want to see what holds the building up. The building wants to come down. It does. It wants to come down. You've got to take the strength out from under it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you put your explosives. Take the strength out. The building will take care of the rest. And we're going to have to get hard on this. But there again, you're going to have to look at it from a local standpoint too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we got local, state, and federal problems everywhere. After yin yang. All right, you got a town. You got 15 murders. You had 4 people killed in a week around Lauderdale. Maybe we got our own little crime wave going here. But and here's going to be the deal. Oh, we need more laws. No, we don't need more laws. We need forced laws that are already there. And we need to have punitive actions for people that break those laws.
Yeah, severe penalties.
That's exactly correct. Because nothing else is going to stop it. Like they had this balloon release deal. It don't make it down. What are you plans going to catch a balloon on a cloud somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
What's that going to do to stop the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just like we have in these little sing songs and all this other. It's childlike when you think about it. It has no positive result.
All right. No, go ahead.
But you've got to get hard on crime, and you've got to stop this terrorist. Just like you said, we're just getting it started, man. They're telling how many people are out there. Here's something else that's going to be planned. Multiple attacks coordinated on multiple different cities at the same time. They know they can't cover that.
Mm-hmm.
Overload the system.
Mm-hmm.
Overload the system.
Yeah.
Roger that.
Overload the system. And I get the point there. If you have sleeper cells, so to speak, inside here, and have we given them opportunity to get their sleeper cells organized over the last 4 years?
I think so.
I mean, with all, who's coming across the border? Anybody? That kind of thing.
Yeah, going back and looking, and I'm going to say the guy's name, not just because it's so confusing to say, but because he does not need any more mentions. He does not mention. I need it one bit.
I'm just glad the terrorist did.
Exactly. Looking at his military service record, because everybody keeps going back to him being a former Army individual. He served in the Army as a human resource specialist and information technology specialist from March 07 until January of 15. Following active duty, he served in the Army Reserves as an IT specialist from January 15 until July of 2020. During his tenure, he deployed to Afghanistan from February 09 to January of 2010. Authorities have already searched an Airbnb in New Orleans believed to be connected to him. There also, obviously, a search warrant's been executed at his main residence in Houston. So if folks are wondering about his military background, that's
so he's
it.
in the reserve until 2020? Wow.
Yeah. So it looks like he was kind of an IT human resource, kind of in that neighborhood of what he specialized in, I guess you would say.
Mornings at Meridian. Glad you're out there. Come on in here, be part of the show. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. A very tragic New Year's thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
I mean, if my wife can tell you right now how I was screaming. It's just crazy, man. My sister goes out for the family and the people, man. It's just, Roger, I have been saying this. We should be on red alert ever since 9/11. But we did not. And I've been saying it makes no sense, man. It is senseless what's happening. And all the cops they got and the National Guard, everybody got down there now after the fact, sending them people's home. It's too late. They needed all of that during the event. It should have been wall-to-wall security there at places. Not just that, but all over America, wherever there was something happening. It's just senseless to hear that after this kind of stuff when security that was available and wasn't there, man. It just really just puts me off, man. It really do. It's just crazy. And like Had just said, Biden just stood in he did. By taking them people off of death row, that's exactly what he did. He spat in the people's face. That's what he did. And Joe Biden, I mean, he is the most unworthy person that I can think of to be the president of the United States. I have no I don't hate no one, but I just have no respect for this president right now. I really don't. This is the most. Oh, I can't think of that word that I want to say, but he's just undeserving of the title that he's got right now. That's the way I feel about him. It's crazy, man. And I just want to say, we need to all stay vigilant and just keep this on the alert, man. Really, we do.
And I know I can speak for myself. You won't find me on the streets of New Orleans at 3:15 in the morning. So
No,
I'm going to be pretty safe in that regard.
yes, sir. I am too. I am too. And I
Yeah.
just want to interject that because if they do have events like that, they need to be wall security, man. Because the FBI guy had already said. He said that the sales and things is out there. It's just a matter of when. And,
Yeah.
and believe me, all this is connected. They can do all this thing later until we find out. No, all this stuff is connected. And the military needs courage.
Mhm.
And I don't mean to sound prejudiced or whatever, but anyone, I'm just saying, but because any foreign people like that, I'm not prejudiced, needs to be vetted. I'm sorry, I don't care. The man been in the army for 20 years. It's the Islamic, they got a plan.
Well, the thing
And we
about
need
these
to be
terrorists is I think that's exactly what we need to be aware of when they call them sleeper cells.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they are. There's people like I'm looking at Rob right now. I'm sitting there thinking, is he one of them? Is he just waiting to be activated and radicalized and all the rest? I'm just looking at him, thinking, wait a minute now.
You watch your mouth.
No, but I'm saying that's the whole point of sleeper cells is that they lie in wait until somebody who says, okay, this is the time, because Allah told us to. This is it, and then you go to work.
and we need to take that stuff at his too and be prepared. You and even like all these service stations and corner stores and market, you mark my word. You what I say. There's gonna be one day we're gonna sit there and try to get the game, and they're gonna say no. We are called. We're getting ready to start training out about 5 times. They must be over there. That's what they preparing. I'm telling you.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something to think about?
Yeah, because everything is being brought up and just like China. I mean, why in the world we China stuff for fight of planes and stuff? That don't make no sense. So
We've kind of nationally sold our soul to the devil, didn't we?
why do you hit that right, man? We really have, man. We just need some more common sense people in the position, man. Lord.
Well, your man Trump's going to be inaugurated hopefully in about 2 weeks, so get ready.
Well, I hope everybody
3
up there
weeks.
get ready to get behind him, then it's like crazy, and all this stuff with Johnson. We ain't got time to fight.
Let's see.
Get
Yeah,
started. We can fight later. We fight later.
we'll see what happens with this vote tomorrow. That'll be interesting. But, hey, man on the street, good. Glad to have you out there because I know if you see something suspicious, you're going to let us know about it.
I'm gonna let you know about it. But I'm gonna call Penny and my other Marine.
That's what I'm talking about.
Call him up.
Hey, appreciate you so much. Thanks for calling today.
Have a good one.
Happy New Year. Mornings in Meridian. Glad you're out there.
I like that call.
Call Mr. Penny. The Marine. Call the Marine back up.
Call him.
Oh, man. Marine said, we ain't back up.
No, we ain't back up. We're front lines, baby.
Don't you call us back up. It's Mornings in Meridian, and big Happy New Year to my Marine friends out there.
That's right.
We're going to take a quick break. Come back, Rob.
Yes, sir.
We're going to see what Fox News has to say.
Okay.
riff was probably practiced by everybody taking guitar lessons back in the 70s. That's right. A little Stones here this morning, Jumping Jack Flash on this New Year's show. It's actually the 2nd of January. Glad you're out there. I'm Roger along with Rob. Happy New Year's to you and yours. We're just off to a great start. We've heard from Hazmat, we've heard from the senior chief, we've heard from the man on the street, and we've heard from our congressman, Mike Guest.
Big morning.
So it's been a big morning, and you can make it even bigger by calling us at 601-485-9191. Let me tell you, if you made a resolution that you're going to change out that old broken down copier and printer that you have to keep slapping and smacking, that's how I fix machines anyway. I don't have to with Purvis, because if I have an issue at all, which I rarely do, I just simply call Purvis Business Machines.
Absolutely. If you don't want to add another verse to the 12 Pains of Christmas, call Purvis Business Machines.
No,
the Pains of Christmas.
I actually quoted that in a sermon last week.
Oh, did you really?
Not the whole thing. Part of it.
Purvis Business Machines can make life easier with one of their lease return color copiers. And folks, you're going to save up to 85% for the new year on one of those business machines. Of course, they sell, service, rent, lease, quality name brand office equipment to do everything. The copiers, the all-in-one devices, of course, all the big name brands that you know and love with Jerry Purvis and, of course, Don Lucas and the amazing staff down there at Purvis Business Machines. So call them today at 601-693-COPY. That is 601-693-COPY. Or go by and see their beautiful showroom at 4505 Highway 39 North in Meridian, or visit them online at gopurvis.com. And of course, they've always lived by their slogan, service, not excuses, since 1979. So save up to 85% today for the new year with Purvis Business Machines.
It's Mornings in Meridian. Our number here is 601-485-9191. Rob, you were talking about the press conference, the city leadership, the mayor. What's her name? Yeah, that lady. Democrat. Oh, Ms. Democrat Mayor. Democrat City. What did Mayor Nagin say it was? It's a chocolate city. That was his word, not mine.
Well, I mean, what was it?
You said the press conference a little bit kind of shameful.
It was a little shameful because, I mean, you had everybody there to try to say something behind the podium. Even Senator Kennedy from Louisiana was there. And just the way it was all presented, I'm going to tell you who should be more embarrassed than anybody is this current state of the FBI. The agent that is in charge on the ground hours before that press conference yesterday, a little after lunch, said, "Oh, this is no terror attack." You have one of the FBI agents on the ground yesterday taking a photo on their cell phone. One of the TV cameras caught this, of the ISIS flag that they found in the truck. But yet you have the agent in charge on the ground in front of the press saying, "Oh, this was not a terrorist attack." And then hours later, they have to revise that.
Say, "Oops, spoke too soon."
But it's like, gosh, and then of course the Tesla truck that exploded outside of the Trump Tower there in Vegas. A lot of people jump on social media and start insinuating, "Well, there's another battery blowing up on one of these vehicles." Let's wait until you get all the information, and then come to find out
it was not.
It was gas cans, fireworks, and everything else in the back of that vehicle. Like, stay off of social media and stop just like, "Oh, I think it's this, I think it's that, this, that." Well, the way they handled themselves out in Vegas, they had video of what happened, which I know that's more of it's not a moving situation, if you get what I'm saying. It's an isolated deal where that truck is parked outside and they got cameras all over it. What happened down in New Orleans, obviously, is a very much more complex situation for the federal folks to start investigating. But I just thought to myself, I was like, quit insinuating. Let's get all the details out down the road once the investigation gets a little further down the road.
We don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that.
We've been trained that we
gotta have it now.
We have I see after the explosion in New Orleans, we go to one of our contributors. This is George blah blah.
George Know-It-All
over in Washington State, and of course he drove a Ford pickup truck one time.
Right,
so tell us what was going through the mind of the terrorist when he went into this crowd. It's like, it's funny. It's funny to see the networks, even Fox, labor as they try to keep the story alive.
But
It's
what
like,
was more embarrassing, I think, from a media aspect was ABC yesterday.
mhm,
They're airing the Peach Bowl yesterday.
mhm.
Great game, probably the best game of the bowl season so far, the playoffs or whatever. It was Arizona State and Texas yesterday. And during that game is when they announced the postponement of the Sugar Bowl to today.
Mhm.
They never talked about it live on television. They never even mentioned it. Well, that's a pretty big story while that game is going on.
Mhm.
And they only said truck attack. They just
Truck
kept saying
attack.
truck attack,
Truck attack, truck attack.
And then finally, ABC News, after that press conference yesterday, they changed the word truck to terror.
Hmm.
And then ESPN yesterday kept saying that the truck attacked. And I'm like, so the truck did it by themselves, didn't they?
Those you got to watch those trucks now. Sometimes they got a mind of their own.
But it's just the wording of everything
Yeah.
yesterday. You can tell people have an agenda and those that don't. So.
And you can tell the people on social media who have absolutely nothing to lose when their intelligence is revealed.
Exactly.
601-485-9191. Good morning, caller. How are you doing?
Good morning, guys. I'm in peace. Love everybody. There's nothing you can do about it.
Peace, love, nothing. Gotcha.
Hey, I was just checking in for the first of the year.
Yes, that's right. Here you are. Is he the fourth caller of the year?
Fifth, fourth, fifth, something. Fifth.
Yeah.
Fifth. I lost count.
I know it. Well, one of them was the guest, Michael guest. But, anyway, glad you're here, sir. Mississippi James checking in. What's on your mind?
Hey, nothing this morning. I'm a blank this morning.
No, that's not true. I cannot even begin to imagine that.
Well, see, that's called meditation. You empty your mind when you dump it all.
Ooh.
I know it's a lot going on in the world, but I'm talking about individually.
Yeah, just kind of taking a break from stuff.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
all right.
And as you take a break, it builds you up in another way.
Have you made any New Year's resolutions?
Never do. I just live them every day.
There you go. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's
So what you see is what you get. So I don't have to make the New Year's resolution.
okay.
It's a day by day thing. But anyway, you guys have a good day. Keep up the good work. Keep the information flowing.
Yes,
And
sir.
Keep listening and calling.
Please do.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mississippi James checking in there. So, listen, good to hear some of our regulars have made it through the New Year's weekend. And so that's always good.
Yeah.
It's Mornings in Meridian. Also, want to say a big thank you. I have in the back of my vehicle a battery that I took out of a lawnmower that I'm going to be going down to the Battery One source and changing out. So I suggest that you follow my example. Don't be a dumb bunny. Go down to Battery One source to get your batteries.
That's right. They're located at 2618 North Frontage Road here in Meridian, 601-693-1500. Go by and see John Dufour and his awesome staff down there at Battery One Source. They got a battery for everything, folks. Watches, remotes, cell phones, obviously the automobile batteries. And they're not just going to say, hey, you just need a new battery. They're going to check everything first. Check your cables, tenders, everything like that. Test your battery. Be sure everything is good to go before you purchase a new battery and save you some money. That's just good service, folks. And installation on those batteries is free for your vehicle. Of course, cell phone broken. I know it happens from time to time. These devices, everybody lives with them in their hand, probably too much. And you're going to drop them if they don't have a case on them, and you're going to split that screen right in two. Go by and let Sid take a look at it. And, of course, they got a lot of other great accessories down there at the shop. It's Battery One Source. Drop by and see them today at 2618 North Frontage Road in Meridian. And also, it's never a bad time to get your golf cart serviced and repaired. They also do that as well at Battery One Source, 601-693-1500. It should be their slogan. Don't be a dumb bunny this new year.
I'll see you there if you're there at sometime midday.
There you go.
All right, it's Mornings in Meridian. Of course, I was talking about birthdays earlier, and I was wondering what Jessica Hahn got Jim Baker for his 85th birthday.
Oh.
Because Jim Baker, the former Assemblies of God minister, former host of the PTL Club, accusation of rape made by his secretary Jessica Hahn led to his resignation from the ministry. Subsequent revelations of account fraud brought about his imprisonment and divorce from his wife. Remember those days?
Yeah,
that was
read a lot about it too.
Yeah, the old thieving preacher scandal.
There you go.
That's it. 601-485-9191. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to our show.
Morning, guys.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Miss Ruth. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. I wanted to share the story about President Carter. Always been at the top of my list
Uh-huh.
when it comes to a person of human beings. I remember when, actually, I got a chance to meet him, and Mrs. Carter and their daughter,
Where,
Amy, because they came to
where did you meet him?
in Nigeria. They were invited,
Uh-huh.
and I was, in that circle, where we were invited to stay dinner. So I got a chance to meet him. But what I want to talk about here is that when he was president, uh, he first went to Washington. The people were sending their children to various kinds of schools, and I can't remember the name of the one that's really popular there now. And uh, that most of the politicians send their children, or they send them ones the Southerners send theirs to one. There's a boarding school outside of Birmingham, Alabama. I can't remember the name of that one, but a lot of the politicians, the Southern politicians, send their kids to those. That particular one, I remember saying later. But anyway, President Carter insisted on Amy going to a public school that was right there in the DC area. And everybody, because that was it, he said, I just don't believe, in separating people, and we have all these different this, and he gave his explanation and everything like that. And everybody was talking about how terrible it was, that he could be sacrificing his daughter with this and the other. And of course, when she graduated, she went to one of the Ivy League schools, and of course she failed that first year because, well, we are talking about, if she just didn't have the education that she needed in terms of being able, to compete with the others. And so she had to leave school. I think it's in her freshman year, and I can't remember the name of that school that she went to. And then she's got her act together now, but that's been years and years ago. Anyway, he is the person who stands, and there's a whole lot of people we can point to. We're looking at Nelson and Mandela and people like that. Just have people who are in that category. I put Carter there. I put him right up there with Nelson Mandela in terms of this is what I believe, this is how I'm going to live, and I'm not going to let all of these other things push me in a different direction. And I really wanted to share that part. The second thing is that our children here in the Mississippi and Lauderdale County, if we could focus in 2024 on making sure that these people who are raping our babies, that somehow we're going to do something about the problem. And of course, there's this lady who's there at Mississippi State, Toby's friend. That lady is very knowledgeable about what is going on here. So we need to have her on to talk to us and maybe give us some recommendations about how we can go about working on this problem and not spend all of our time talking about the people coming across the wall and they're not in the Mississippi. Well, what is it now? Although I'm concerned about them, but let's talk about our problem and what we can do for our children.
All right. Well, Happy New Year to you, and glad you made it to the new year. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, well, that's another thing.
Now we got to take a break. Thank you.
Again.
I had the break music started, but thank you. Give us a call back tomorrow. We appreciate it. Meridian. Roger along with Rob. I'm glad you're out there and tuned in. Hope you're having a great day. Right now, I just want to make mention of this day in history we had, of course. Let's put it this way. John F. Kennedy announced he was going to run for the presidency. This was in 1960.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting how this all works out.
Mm-hmm.
You realize back in 1960, you didn't announce until the January of the year of the election.
Yeah.
I mean, well, today, if we were going to do that, when would you announce that?
Today. That's it. For the election coming up in like 3.5 years.
Mornings and Meridians, we're glad you're out there. It's like, yeah, I think it'd be good to let the new year be when the trigger's pulled on the. No, nothing by that. I'm talking about, whenever we have a presidential election.
Yeah.
Let's let January be the start for that.
Yeah.
Instead of mornings in Meridian, glad you're out there. Let's take a phone call. Roger with Rob. Good morning. Welcome to our show. Oops.
Bye.
Goodbye. So, Rob, anything we need to get in before we take this break for about 2 hours coming up? We got about 6 minutes on the show if you want to be part of it.
Nothing new. Just checking to see if they've. Let's see. Looks like they do have a small update on New Orleans this morning. Of course, they are still looking for potential accomplices from the New Orleans ordeal yesterday. Looks like the Louisiana Attorney General has told Fox there is evidence that the person who drove the truck worked alongside accomplices to coordinate the attack, although she and other officials have declined to offer specifics because it's an ongoing investigation. And the attack killed at least 15 people and wounded dozens of others. So that's really about the only new thing they've put out this morning. But I'm pretty sure they'll have another one of those press conferences where everybody but the janitor is going to be there for the press conference. So,
all right, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
let's trot everybody out and let them see. Let them see everybody involved in city operations.
And the ball game, as of right now, is still to be held at 3:00 there at the Superdome Sugar Bowl. So still going.
All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning, caller. How you doing?
Good morning. Happy New Year and good health.
Benny, Happy New Year to you, sir.
Well, I was thinking the janitor probably knows more about what's going on in the FBI home defense.
Probably do.
The terrorists, they don't have anything to worry about because of the apathy and unconcern that our intelligence agents are supposed to have and know what's going on. They're deny because they're too ignorant to figure it out and to put the truth out because, some of our own, the people that's supposed to be protecting this country, they so wrapped up in their own self and whatever their agenda that they in denial we just by everything happened. So they're working in favor with the terrorists because of their apathy and unconcern and denial.
Yeah.
Well, you make a very good point there, Mr. Benny, and of course, Mr. Mayor, I should say, Mayor of Sucalina checking in here with us. The one thing we always have to remember, and I think some of our earlier callers reminded us, and that is that we're dealing with people who aren't afraid to sacrifice their life for this. They're not worried about dying. Now, I'm glad we're not having to try and hold these terrorists, and I'm glad we don't have to. But they're not afraid of that. They're willing to give up their life for that. When they get to this point, they're willing to go out and take as many people with them.
They want to die, and they think it's such an honor, and they're going to have such great rewards hereafter. I hate to tell them the only rewards they're going to have is to meet Satan himself, and you're welcome to my house.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Well, speaking of Sucalina, we taking any measures to make sure that we are ready for any terrorists that might find their way to Sucalina, Mississippi?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, a watchdog. I mean, that's
Chill. Take on anything, all comers.
Take on anything.
Take them all on.
Biscuits and food, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And if you disturb her, she gets upset and hard. Disturb her sleep, her routine. But she's a terrible. She therapist and she big old bad dog weighs pushes almost 10 pounds.
Big dog.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my opinion of the assessment of the control and the legal authorities and the protection we got with our so-called Homeland Defense, FBI, CIA, those supposed to know. You're right. The terrorists have almost a free hand thanks to Joe Biden and the Democrats and Republicans. They sit up there doing the same thing they always doing. They mess around, won't agree to anything, and it's going to be business as usual.
Business
A lot of noise and accomplishing nothing. They won't get together, won't agree. But anyway, that's my thoughts. And with a happy new year and go in good health, I hope everyone has a great day.
Wow. What a great start to a new year, Rob.
Yes,
With
sir.
all the calls and the comments. Thanks to everybody checking in with our first show of the year. Thanks to Congressman Michael Guest.
Yep. Big
Checking
vote tomorrow.
big vote tomorrow. We'll see how that all goes. And in the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow morning for our second show of the year. All right. Good night, everybody.